Thoughtful Thursdays. My name is Kobe J, musician, producer, links below. Today I will be talking about the power of words and honoring your word. So I don't know if you guys have ever read the book The Four Agreements, but it's a book that basically lays out 4 agreements that he thinks everyone should live their life by. And one of them is be impeccable with your word, which is what I'll be talking about today. And this is something I'm very prominent and passionate about because it's something I grew up with. I'm well versed with it because my parents distilled this in me and my siblings. So I grew up with this knowledge and displaying this act. And it's pretty simple. It's just words are powerful. The things you say in your daily life affect your life. Even if it's just a joke, even if it's something silly, the words you say are powerful. And there's 2 different things I want to talk about. It's honoring your word and the fact that words are powerful, right? I'll start with words are powerful because the things you say happen. How many times have you yourself experienced a moment where you're talking about something and it shows up in real life? Or you manifest or you think hard about what you really want and what you're gonna have in your brain, and how many times does it actually show up? So basically, words are powerful. The things you put out into the universe and into open air, it really does happen. And there's also a difference between saying I want and I will. A lot of people keep saying, I want to do this. I want to be a rock star. I want to be a veterinarian. I want to do this. I want. Change the mindset of believing that you already are going to get it. So I will be a rock star. I'm going to be a rock star. I'm going to be a veterinarian. Because that small little change, even if it's like, take away, if you don't believe in the universe or like whatever that shit, take it face value. There's a difference between saying I want and I'm gonna be. In your brain, your want is just a want. It's not a want. Saying you're gonna do it, your body's gonna do whatever it can to make that true, because humans are that self-righteous. We want to be right that we'll do anything to make that happen just by saying I'm gonna do that. Isn't that crazy? Just because the difference between I want and I will. So that's the first part of saying how powerful words are. And also, sidebar, your subconscious is always listening. If you're constantly diminishing and degrading yourself, even if it's just jokes, those words are powerful and they will start to become true, because whatever you say kind of comes true within yourself, because words are powerful. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you find yourself joking about yourself or degrading yourself, even if you say it's a joke and you don't believe it, over time you will start to believe it because you're saying it. And your subconscious is always listening. So that's the first part. Second part is being impeccable with your word and honoring your word. So this is probably one of the most important things that a human could ever learn. And I'm surprised not everyone learns that. I learned this through a program, and I also learned it through my parents, that honoring your word is way more powerful than people really think, because it basically is what makes us honorable and what makes us confident and what makes us believe in ourselves. Because, for example, if you and your friend are having a conversation and the friend says, hey, come over to my place, and you say, I'll be there at 4:15, and then you show up at like 4:30, right? The friend's gonna be like, okay, and this keeps happening, like, let's say for like 2 months. 2 months later, the friend, if the friend texts you and says, be at my house by 4:15, he knows you're not gonna really be there until like 4:30, because you not betrayed his trust, but you've like betrayed your word of being there at 4:15. So why should he believe you to be there at 4:15? You know, because your actions were speaking louder than your words. You know, you're breaking your word by not being there at 4:15. And that slowly diminishes your self-value and self-confidence. And especially if you break your word with yourself. That's the easiest thing to do, because there's no one holding you accountable when you're breaking your word with yourself. If your friend like keeps what's it called? knowing that you don't show up at 4:15, they could hold you accountable and be like, yo, you're not showing up at 4:15. Lock in. You're breaking your word. Show up at 4:30. But when it's just yourself, there's no one to hold you accountable. So that's why holding yourself accountable and your words to it themselves is super important. And if you don't, you're slowly diminishing your value and confidence as a person, because like what I was talking with the friends example, the more you lie and break your word to your friend, the less your friend is going to trust you. And if you're doing that to yourself, the less you're going to trust yourself. So that's why doing what you're going to say is super powerful, because then you start believing in yourself, because you're showing action and you're saying words and you're showing action to make that happen. And that's just like, you say you're going to do something, then you do it. It's that simple. And then your brain starts believing, okay, if I say it, I'm going to do it. That's why you got to be careful with your words. I'm kind of just rambling, but basically words are powerful, and you got to choose what you say wisely. And if you're going to say it, do it, because if you don't do it after you said it, you're slowly diminishing your self-confidence and your self-value, because you're genuinely lying to yourself. You're making yourself not believe in yourself, because you're not doing what you said you were going to do. So that's why, and I'm not saying like you don't need to do everything. I'm just saying, if you're going to say you're going to do it, you know? If you know you're not going to do it, don't say, yeah, I'll do it, because then it slowly diminishes your value. And to be honest, everyone, actually, I don't want to put a generalization on everyone, but I find myself doing this lately, even though I know the knowledge. And it really is, it's hard, because it's easy to break your word to yourself, because no one's holding you accountable, like what I was saying. But my dad told me the easiest way to build self-confidence and to really believe in yourself and change as a human being is make a to-do list, and don't go to sleep until that to-do list is done. Because you're making a word to yourself, making an honor, and then you're not going to sleep until they're done. Therefore, you've completed everything you said you would do. You put your mind... wait. You completed the words that you said, and then there you go. You believe in yourself. Even if it's just like a couple things, you know, get out of bed, or make your bed, or go do laundry. Even if it's 4 things on the to-do list, you said you're gonna do it, and you do it, and then that helps just grow your self-confidence. So those are the 2 things I really want to talk about today. That words are powerful, and holding yourself accountable to those words is very difficult, but it's also insanely powerful and strong once you take advantage of that and have the ability to hold yourself accountable and do the things you put your word to. So yeah, be careful with the words that you say, because what you can say can really happen. And if you're going to say something, fucking do it, because you're just going to hurt yourself if you don't. By the way, I'm bald. Later.